Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the brain's hidden chain of command. We're talking about the incredible split-second journey a single thought takes to become a physical action.
I mean, think about it. It feels totally instantaneous, right? You decide you want to pick up that bottle, and you just do it. But what's really going on? Well, behind that simple act is this absolutely mind-blowing, rapid-fire chain of command happening deep inside your brain.
So the first thing you've got to understand is that your brain's motor system isn't just, one big blob barking out orders. Nope. It's actually structured just like a well-run company with a super clear top-down hierarchy. You've got your CEO, you've got your managers, and you've got the workers on the factory floor. So let's break down that corporate ladder. Right at the very top, you've got the CEO. Areas like your prefrontal cortex. They decide what to do. The big picture stuff. I'm going to pick up that bottle. Then that decision gets passed down to the managers in the premotor cortex. Their job is to figure out how to do it. They program the exact sequence of muscle movements needed. And finally, way down at the bottom, the workers, your primary motor cortex and spinal cord, they just execute that plan. No questions asked.
And one of the best ways to really appreciate just how brilliant this system is to look at what happens when it breaks. Because when you see damage at different levels of this chain of command, you get completely different problems.
And this is where it gets really interesting. If you have damage at the top levels, the CEO or the managers, that can cause something called apraxia. Now, with apraxia, the muscles themselves work just fine, but the plan is all wrong. The sequence is messed up. This is why you hear about cases where someone might try to put their pants on their head. It's not that they can't move, it's that the instructions are scrambled. But if the damage is down at the worker level, the plan is perfect, but the message just can't get through. And that's paralysis.
But, of course, that CEO up top doesn't just work in a vacuum, right? To make any decision, it needs some serious input from a crucial group of collaborators deep in the brain. We're talking about the basal ganglia. You can think of them as the ultimate gatekeepers of movement.
So what do these gatekeepers actually do? Well, the basal ganglia basically act like this incredibly sophisticated filtering system. The best way to picture it is to imagine two competing pathways that are constantly battling for control. One is basically a gas pedal and the other is a brake.
Okay, so you've got the gas pedal, which is also called the direct pathway. This one often gets its signals from our more instinctual gut reaction parts of the brain. It's the part that's screaming, go, go, go. Then you've got the brake pedal, the indirect pathway. This one's more influenced by our higher level, thoughtful cognitive areas. It's the voice that says, whoa, hang on a second. Now, in a healthy brain, these two are in perfect balance. But what happens when that balance gets totally thrown off?
Well, what if that go signal gets stuck in the on position? That's when you can see something like obsessive-compulsive disorder. The brain is literally missing that sense of closure that tells you, okay, that action is done now. It's why someone might wash their hands over and over and over again. The internal signal to just stop simply isn't firing. The gas pedal is floored. Okay, now let's flip that coin. What happens when the stop signal is way too powerful? Well, that gives you the primary symptom of Parkinson's disease, which is called hypokinesia. And that's just a fancy word for having a really hard time starting a movement. A person might want to stand up, the plan is all there, the desire is there, but their brain's own brake pedal is being slammed to the floor so hard that the go command just can't get through.
So you have the basal ganglia acting as the gatekeeper, right? They're the ones giving a movement the green light or the red light. But hey, once a movement gets approved, the job's not done. It still needs to be refined, coordinated, made smooth. And that is the job of another absolutely crucial collaborator, the cerebellum. If the basal ganglia is the gatekeeper, the cerebellum is the orchestra conductor. It's all about grace, timing, and precision. It takes that rough motor plan and just smooths out all the edges, making it fluid and perfectly coordinated. And you know what? There is no better, or let's be honest, more familiar way to understand its job than to see what happens when it gets temporarily knocked offline by alcohol.
It's actually kind of amazing. The classic signs of being drunk, they map perfectly onto the cerebellum's main jobs. That dizzy, world-is-spinning feeling of vertigo, yep, that's alcohol hitting the part responsible for balance. Staggering around, walking in a zigzag, that's an impact on the area that controls your posture. And what about fumbling with your keys? Just can't get it in the lock? That's a direct hit to the parts responsible for all those fine, precise movements. The orchestra conductor is just completely lost.
So let's just take a step back for a second and appreciate this. This incredible,
totally unconscious symphony that plays out inside your brain for every single move you make. I mean, from signing your name to just taking one step.
When you put it all together, what you have is this beautiful, multi-layered system. You've got the 3-level hierarchy to decide on, program, and then execute the plan. You've got the basal ganglia, the gatekeeper, making sure you start and stop at the right times. And you've got the cerebellum, the conductor, ensuring the whole thing is smooth and precise. And the most incredible part? It all happens flawlessly, in the blink of an eye, completely without you ever having to think about it.
It's just wild. The sheer complexity hiding behind our simplest actions is truly mind-boggling. And it really makes you wonder, right? For every move you make, this whole symphony plays. So what else is your brain doing without you even knowing? That's all for this explainer. Thanks for joining us.